border tax issue. It's obviously a protectionist type of language. It's anti-competitive, not great for other nations. It might well be great for the US in the creation of jobs. So how have the markets responded to this?
Well, look, we're certainly seeing a weak Friday, that's for sure. Although it has to be said that Fridays are often quite weak when you've had a very strong equity market. What happens is the traders tend to square off positions ahead of the weekend, so some of it's possibly technical. However, certainly those comments, I think, will have been hardening attitudes in relation to trade. Border tax is a bit different to normal trade tariffs, in the sense that normally products are taxed at a particular rate per product, and now a border tax focuses on taxing specific counterparties. And that's a bit of a concern, because the whole purpose of trade is that whoever's good at making products X and Y, each make one of each and then swap. So what happens when you break that process down, it tends to interfere with the process of trade and build inefficiencies into both economies.
Now, it's interesting that the US Fed minutes show that the Federal Reserve is more inclined to raise rates, but the markets, for some reason, don't believe that in March is going to happen. Why is that?
Well, look, I'm not sure that I would disagree that rates could go up in March. I mean, certainly gold, for example, which is the old inflation guard dog, seems to be barking in the corner. And the US economy is generally looking like it's at fairly full capacity. I mean, unemployment is on relatively low levels. So from my point of view, I think some tightening is definitely going to be required. And in any case, I mean, the Fed fully understands what Trump's policies will do. They are clearly going to be inflationary, and they, for their part, have to act as the Fed must.
I think they've indicated that there hasn't been any clarity, any detail about his policy. Lots of bluster, but not so much detail.
Yeah, it's still lacking on details at this stage, but I've got the feeling that it's actually not too long before we get illuminated. I mean, at this stage, Trump has a massive political advantage in that he has all of the houses covered. He can pretty much ram through what he wants rammed through, unless he gets a serious rebellion within the Republican Party. So he's going to be all systems go. And I think for financial markets, it actually could be a surprisingly volatile time.
And speaking of financial markets, I mean, our local market is down. Everything is down pretty much, but financials are on a high. Why do you think that is?
Interesting one there. I think from our side, the demand that would be coming through for commodities is obviously going to be rand positive, and that's good for our interest rate markets. And also, I mean, we've just had a budget that was pretty fierce, and it's going to share the pain out, but it's also putting us on the kind of footing that makes sure we keep our credit rating. So that would definitely boost confidence in the banks.
Indeed it would. Now, speaking on the budget, obviously it was the highlight of the week, the economic highlight of the South African week, but obviously post-budget, a lot of talk about the possibility that Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan will be replaced. To what extent do you think the markets will act more aggressively or negatively to the change in his leadership relative to his actual presentation of the budget?
I think any change there would be extremely badly received. I mean, all of the gains that have been made have been very, very hard won. And what markets and credit rating agencies, and in fact the public, wants to see is delivery. We're sharing in the tough times. Now let's actually execute well. And what the point of changing Gordhan would be, I could not see what sense or use that would be.
Well, I'll be a devil's advocate. When I've had this discussion with people, they say, well, we can't rely on one individual to save South Africa. So he's not necessarily the panacea to all of South Africa's problems. How do you respond to that?
What we want to see is that whatever the policies are, that there is continuity now. We need no more shocks or side blinders or personal agendas or Russian nuclear stations held together with masking tape. We need proper transformation, and we need spend where it matters. Upskilling people, upskilling emerging farmers, that sort of thing.
All right, so we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time, as always. Well, that was Warwick Lucas. He's the Chief Investment Officer at Galileo Capital. After the break, Nzinga has more news for you.